Hi everybody. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how to choose a college major. And I'm going to tell you from the perspective of an attorney. I'm a trademark attorney at my own law firm. Why choosing a major might not necessarily be that big of a deal. And I know this advice isn't for everybody, but it is for a lot of those people that maybe want to be lawyers or even entrepreneurs. You know, when I started in college, I thought I wanted to live abroad. I wanted to have a bunch of cultural experiences. And so I wanted to major in international affairs because I loved visiting foreign countries. It turns out that the history classes weren't really my cup of tea at all. I didn't enjoy learning about history. I never have, not even in middle or high school. It's been my worst subject. So I guess I didn't really realize that in international affairs I was going to be taking more than my fair share of history classes, not only for American history, but also for, you know, other countries' history. So the part that I did like was definitely learning other languages. So I did take Russian, I took Portuguese, and I had already taken French in high school. And, you know, I still remember a little bit of it, so it has served me well. However, after 2 years of being at George Washington at the School of International Affairs, I decided that I needed to make a change. So I ended up at University of Texas at El Paso, and I ended up majoring in health science. So health has always been something that I've been interested in. I have family members that are in the health industry, and so I was always very curious about it. I've always loved understanding nutrition, especially, and just not necessarily the biology, but I've really loved learning about diseases and how to heal the body of ailments. And so it just seemed like the next best fit. I really enjoyed it, so I thought, why not? So I did. I ended up transferring most of my credits over to UTEP, and I finished within the 4 years. And then after that, I thought, well, gosh, what am I going to do? I still have no idea what I'm going to do. I tried applying for jobs in community health related fields here in El Paso, and nobody said yes. And if you watch my other video, I was still very resilient because I said, well, it only takes one person to say yes, as Mark Cuban says. So I'm going to keep on trying. So I tried and I tried. And, you know, to be honest, the salary wasn't very appealing to me anyway. So I ended up moving to California, and I worked with a cousin who was a mortgage broker. At that time, I didn't understand a lot about sales. And I would say it was like one of the first real jobs that I had. But anyway, I didn't understand much about sales, and so I didn't enjoy that job because I was cold calling a lot. But it definitely got my feet wet in a business that I knew nothing about. And also practicing a skill that I didn't really know or have at that time, which was sales. But now having my own law firm, I really understand that sales is the foundation and the basis to working anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're working for yourself or working for somebody else. But the reality is especially if you follow Grant Cardone, he'll tell you, you know, you're selling all the time, whether you want to believe it or not. When you talk to people, you're selling yourself. When you're working for yourself and you have to pitch your business proposition or the product that you want them to buy, of course you're selling at that point too. When you go on a job interview, you're selling yourself. And so I do think that sales is very, very, very important. So when I think about, well, gosh, how did picking a major, or how did my major affect where I am today? Well, in reality, it didn't really matter what I majored in. It didn't matter if I majored in biology and, you know, health science and had declared pre-law, or if I had done political science, which is what a lot of lawyers do. It doesn't really matter. The reality is that you can pick anything and still become a lawyer. You can pick anything and still become an entrepreneur. You can decide to become an entrepreneur at any point in your life when you decide to sell something and start your own business, whether it's a service-based business or product-based business. And, you know, my goal when I was in college was, you know, I just need to get out of college because the experience comes from having a job and working somewhere where my skills are actually valued. And when you're in college, nobody really asks you, well, what are you good at? Well, what are your skills? You know, you're expected to perform at a certain level, and that's it. But nobody ever coaches you through the process of picking a major based on what you're really good at. And so my advice would be to, if you know that you want to become a doctor, let's say, or you think you want to become a doctor, then ask to spend a week or a day with a doctor, you know, through a connection that you have, or if you know someone firsthand, then just ask them, you know, is it okay if I, you know, help out for a few hours? I really want to know what it's like to be a doctor. Or ask a lawyer that, you know, can I work for free for a day? I just really want to know what being a lawyer's like. You know, if you want to do foreign affairs and you think that that's going to lead you to work like at a consulate or an embassy, then find your nearest embassy and say, you know, hey, can I spend a summer there working for you? I'd love to get to know this process. And that is the truest way to find out what a career is like. And when you are there, you can ask those specific people, what do you have to do to get to this position, to be where you are today? And if they tell you you need to major in something specific, then maybe that's the time when you need to major in something specific. But I can tell you that if you want to be a lawyer, it's not necessary to be a pre-law or political science major. It's just not. And so I wish that somebody would have just said to me, Marcella, if you want to be a lawyer, go ask a lawyer, any lawyer, even if you don't know them, if you can spend the day with them. And there are very few people that I think will say no. I think most people will say yes, especially if you're going to be lending them a hand. I highly doubt anybody's going to say no. So that's my advice to you right now, is if you think you know you want to do something, then go out and ask that person if you can spend the day with them and establish a good relationship with them. I mean, you know, put on a good face, put your best foot forward. Take one of your best skills and share it with the person that you're going to be shadowing that day. And you'll know, ask the right questions, ask any questions. You can't expect to find answers if you don't look for them. So go out, look for these people that you think you want to be like, and ask them what their road to that position was. And I bet you might be pretty surprised.